All right, I finally figured it out, y'all. I finally figured it out after 10 years working in player development and so many things I've done and so many videos and everything I shared you all. I have been looking as I've went through and thought about the things I've done and the successes I've had and the programs and initiatives. I wanted to get it all into one framework. And I finally found that framework. And it started with doing it all, right? Going back to when I was in the role at the University of Houston. I was new to the role and there were people to help, but there weren't resources. And I'm so thankful I'm able to make resources for a lot of you all watching. I have my book right here, The Player Development Guide. You can get on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. You have this YouTube channel. Some of you all listen to audio podcasts. I have blogs, newsletters, Substack, LinkedIn. There's so many resources, right? And so when I first started, I just did everything. I wanted to get it all done, right? I had so many different things in so many different buckets. This is how we're going to do mentorship. This is how we're going to do when I do recruiting. This is how we're going to do academics. This is how we're going to do programming, community impact. There's 4 buckets for that. Everything had a different bucket, right? But what started to happen is when I began to explain player development to our coaches, our staff, even recruits, parents, our players, I just remember people seeing my eyes, looking at my eyes like, yeah, you know what you're talking about, but I can't comprehend, right? And so it was a lot of this going on, right? Me speaking over people's heads, going one ear and out the other, because I'm so passionate, but got all these different places, and there wasn't just something that I can come to. And that was when I was in the role. Then I started consulting. I had cohorts and consulting people in this space and helping people get in this space. And I realized when I was talking to them as well, I'm over here nerding out and they're just blinking, right? They're getting it, but I'm doing so much. I'm giving them so much information. Shout out to my first 2 cohorts. Y'all should see how much information I gave them in 4 weeks. Unreal. And so I had to come to realization like, okay, this is where I am. Where can I come up with a framework that houses everything I've done, that can be the answer to all the things that happen in player development in one spot? And that is what I wanted to create, because what I realized is I was a part of the problem. I'm so passionate about player development and its impact and helping people understand what it can do. But I realized I wasn't bringing clarity to the role when I was in the role and doing consulting, even doing some of these podcasts. I'd have this bucket and you go here and you go there, and you go here and you go there. And so I realized for me, it was never a programming problem. I can program. If you need a program, you need an initiative, I can come up with that. That ain't stopping me. It was a structure issue. And I needed a system to house all this stuff so that any question asked of me can be in the service I provide people in consulting. And we don't have to go out, well, that's a different type of consulting. It can all be in one framework. And I'm really excited about what I'm going to share with you all and the Beyond Player Development model and what it is, because player development, as I mentioned earlier, can be misunderstood. I define player development as the enhancement of the athlete experience through holistic and intentional programs and initiatives. But when there's so many buckets, so many things that player development does, coaches can misunderstand, administrators can misunderstand, players can misunderstand. There could be such a misunderstanding. And so I am excited that this model helps coaches understand the full importance of the role, helps people understand what player development is. So here it is, y'all. Here is the player development Beyond model. Now, Beyond is an acronym, and we're going to use it, and it's going to house 6 areas of player development, which I'm going to explain to you here. The B is for belonging. The E is for education. The Y is for your purpose. The O is for opportunities. The N is navigation, and the D is development systems. There it is. That is the Beyond Player Development model. And I'm excited about that because that houses everything that has been done. So let's start with belonging, right? Belonging, that's where it all starts, right? My dad used to tell me, no matter who the person is, if a person follows a good crowd or a bad crowd, they follow because of belonging. And belonging is how we're going to make this athlete feel like they belong in our program. The education part is what I really enjoyed. They had all my buckets. This is all the programming. This is all the programming you have, the education, what you want to give to the athletes. The why, your purpose. You're helping that athlete find out their purpose. What is your purpose, right? This is the programming or the initiatives or whatever you're doing to help them find their purpose. The O is opportunities. These are the opportunities you create in your player development program, right? These are the opportunities they can have while they're an athlete, after they're done being an athlete, right? Opportunities are endless and you're creating them in the O. And then N is navigation. Right now, college athletics is very transient. I speak college athletics. I was in college athletics. Professional sports is transient. Even high school, every sport, right? Every level is becoming transient. So you have to work on the navigation of those coming in, those going out, those navigating different things in life. And the D is the development systems. We have all these incredible things, but we need to put them in systems. We need to put them in systems so that we can clearly communicate with those around us. This is how we develop athletes, right? And that's the beyond model. That's the beyond model. The B is belonging, the E is education, the Y is your purpose, the O is opportunities, the N is navigation, and the D is development systems. And this is important to me. This framework is important to me because when I looked at my work, y'all, it took me time to get here. Because at 10 years, I got files on files. I got computer files. I got files in my storage. I have so many files of things that I've done in the role and with beyond the field. And so over 10 years in player development, serving athletes or serving people in this space, there's a lot. But I know when I was in the role that I would focus on navigation without helping an athlete find out their purpose, right? Hey, let's help you navigate what it looks like to return to play or what it looks like to go get a career without finding their purpose. I've been there, right? And if I had this model, I would have walked and say, hey, you know what? Let's start with belonging. Let's do some education. Let's do your purpose. Let's get some opportunities. And let's work on navigation, right? I would have known their purpose by then. Navigation would have been so much smoother than that for the athlete, rather than the athlete coming to my office saying, hey, Ed, I appreciate you. Thank you for all you're doing, but I'm not interested in this, right? And so I've been there. I know people in the space. I was consulting with this SEC team, and they created opportunities without belonging. They came in and they started doing these trips in the country, abroad, all these service trips without creating a sense of belonging with the players they just got there. They started doing programming within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of being there, right? And so you do these opportunities, you have these incredible opportunities. And when I went to consult with them, this is about 9 months after they got there, 9 months to a year after they got there, and they said, hey, we're missing these relationships we're having with these athletes. And I was like, well, they showed me all this great programming stuff and all these opportunities, but there was no sense of belonging. No sense of belonging. Being at a school where you have a player development office and they had multiple people on their staff, and they had a great location office, and I saw 2 or 3 athletes come in. That shouldn't be, right? And so I'm excited about this system because it helps. It helps. It will help. And I'm excited because it will help you. It will help people all around the world develop athletes in a way that is clear, concise, has a lot of clarity, and can be communicated. Now, let's do a quick exercise. Let's take the Beyond model, right? And let's apply it to your program. Once again, the B is belonging. The E is education. The Y is your purpose. The O is opportunities. The N is navigation, and the D is development systems. Which letter or pillar are you strongest? When your program, when you hear that breakdown, which letter is the strongest for you in your program? What's the area you say, yeah, we do this. We're good at this. I want you to pause and write that down. Now that you've paused and wrote that down or thought about it, which area for you or which pillar is the weakest? You heard it and you're like, oh, navigation. Right? It's good to know. So I want you to pause, think about it, and write it down. Now, if you're driving, don't be writing it down. And then I want you to look at which letter or pillar you can grow in the most. Where is there space for growth? Is it the education? Could you grow on the programming side? Is it belonging? Where can you grow the most in this Beyond model? Now that you've answered these questions, you have space to create a more impactful program, right? And this is what I do. I come in with programs and I help them create the impact they want to see. I help programs define their beyond through workshops, program design, and consulting. If you want to build more clarity and impact for the athletes you serve in your program. If you want to build more clarity and impact for the athletes you serve in your program, email me at edward@btfprogram.com. All right, so that's the Beyond Player Development model. In the next episode, you will hear about how I took this Beyond Player Development framework and went to Iowa State University and helped their player development staff. I'm so excited for you to hear about that experience and to hear testimonials from the staff that is there. If you're serious about building a player development system, reach out. I would love to bring the Beyond model to your campus. I'm so excited to share it with you all. As I always say, go out and create generational impact. Don't wait, create that generational impact today. And YouTube thinks this is the best video for you to watch. Can't wait to see you bring Beyond to your program.